music with my bro. Willing to dig it, yes or no? Here we go on with the show, the Hear Me Out Bro Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 5 of the Hear Me Out Bro podcast. I'm Eric, and I'd like to introduce my brother Clark.
Hey everybody.
And episode 5, we're going to be talking about the origins of metal. This is to kick off Metal Month. This week we're covering origins of metal, like proto-metal kind of stuff, and next week we'll be talking about classic metal. And then the week after that, we'll talk about thrash metal. And then the last week, Clark is going to be covering trad metal and be introducing us to some new bands that have that classic metal sound.
So limber up your index fingers and pinkies. It's going to be 4 weeks of showing your horns.
Yeah, it should be pretty fun. If you want to listen along to our playlists at the same time as the podcast, you can find all our playlists at YouTube. If you search for at HMOBP, that'll take you to our YouTube channel. And pretty soon we'll start putting up some podcasts there too. But for now, that's just where you can find all our playlists. That's our way to get around having to pay gazillions of dollars in licensing fees to share the music. Yeah, find the playlists there, and we hope you enjoy those too. If you want to give us any comments or questions, you can email us at hearmeoutbropodcast@gmail.com, all lowercase, all one word. If you want to give us any feedback or anything, that's a good place to do that too. We also now have a Facebook page. It's just called The H-Mob, H-Mob. So if you search for The H-Mob on Facebook, that'll get you on our Facebook page, and you can join us there, and we'll be posting stuff there from time to time, sharing the episodes. And if we mention pictures or different things, we might throw those up there too for everybody to check out.
Oh yeah. Our Patreon is Hear Me Out Bro Podcast, all one word. And we have a couple tiers. Come check us out if you enjoy the show.
Cool. So I had a little bit of trouble, kind of digging into this origins of metal thing. There's tons of heavy psych stuff. There's tons of heavy blues. Black Sabbath's first album that came out in 1970. It's going to be the elephant in the room throughout this whole podcast, this whole episode. So I was trying to focus more on just music that kind of had a heavier, more driving sound, like what we've come to know heavy metal to sound like. And,
right.
It's not stoner doom metal. It's not some of these different genres, because there's, that'd be a whole different episode. So this is just kind of like bands that influenced and maybe started that kind of classic metal type of sound. Some of them are kind of like garage rock bands. Some of them are just like heavy blues bands that kicked up the tempo a notch and maybe didn't stick to just the straight, blues scale or 5-note, pentatonic scale.
Right.
Maybe put a little more minor pentatonic stuff in there, or harmonic minor scale. And another thing that came up was that there was so much good music to share that this list ended up being a little on the long side. And I promise, well, no, I'm not going to promise, because we do want to trim our podcasts down to where they're less, around an hour at least, maybe not 2 hours long every time, but I don't know. We'll see where we get on this one once it's all edited down.
Yeah, I'm not going to point fingers, because when we do folk month, the folk metal episode is probably going to be about this long, if not longer.
Yeah, luckily a lot of the songs this week are a little bit on the shorter side. When I do prog rock, it's probably going to get a little lengthy too. You know?
True.
Well, the episode won't be lengthy, but if you're listening along with the songs. But I prefer long form content stuff anyways, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I just try to shoot for an hour. That seems to be a good workable length for a podcast. But
yeah, I mean, we feel for all you guys that listen to us on your commute or whatever, but
right.
you'll have to split us up into bite-sized chunks.
Yeah, hopefully your commute isn't as long as this episode.
Oh, I hope not.
And the folk metal episode will be 2 parts because one part will just be going song by song through all 20 Corpaclani albums. Just song by song.
Yeah. And we were just going to do a folk episode, but then it was like, no, it can't be a single episode.
No.
Yeah. Okay. But anyways, enough of that. Back to metal. I don't know if this is the first heavy metal song, but I just wanted to throw it in here to like get the ball rolling. I figured I'd start at 1965 and just pick out a song from each year between 1965 and 1975 to like, what was the most metal song of like that year? And then I'll have some honorable mentions too to make things even longer. So the first song is from 1965 and it's the Yardbirds. Train Kept a Rollin'. All right. Yardbirds, Train Kept a Rollin'.
Yeah. That particular version is from a movie.
Yeah.
And apparently there's something plot specific going on that I don't understand.
Or
that's
not.
That's not the best recording of that song that I've heard. But yeah, that's one of the ones on the list that I'm really familiar with. It's like, yeah, the Yardbirds are badass.
Some people might say like, what the hell, you know, it's like that's not metal, but let me give you my justifications here. So, well, the movie was from 66, but the song came out in 65. So these are my justifications. I don't know if anybody watches Ola England's YouTube channel, but he has a little ongoing thing called Will It Chug? And he tests different gear to like see if it'll chug. To me, that's the first song that chugged. I mean, it's about a train, but that's the first song that chugged. So if it doesn't chug, it's not metal. And this is the first song to chug. And I also, you might have recognized like a few faces up there on stage.
Yeah.
And I just want to remind everybody that they'll say, well, no, Zeppelin was the first metal band. And it's like, well, Zeppelin, before they were Zeppelin, they were called the New Yardbirds. So, yeah.
And Zeppelin never claimed to be a heavy metal band.
Right. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I love that song. And it's just like, it's like a freight train. It comes stomping in and yeah.
Well, and I remember as like a young metalhead learning to play guitar, like you always wanted to learn like the Aerosmith version of that song.
Right.
Because it was like just a cool riff. You know, it's like one of those riffs like Highway to Hell or Smoke on the Water or something that was that you had to have in your repertoire.
It's classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's like one of the building blocks. Like, you got to have that, like that fuzz, that heaviness, and that chug. Like, otherwise it's just, I don't know, electric symphony.
Yeah. So you want to throw a quick score at that one?
Yeah, because the Yardbirds are so rad.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, I'm trying not to judge it on my confusion for that, like, what was happening in that scene from that movie, and then decoupling that song from like the Yardbirds' entire catalog.
Well, and like what a fertile garden plot, you know? I mean, Clapton, Beck, Page.
Yeah.
You know, enough said. All came out of that band.
Yeah, they were like the crucible of like all the heavy stuff to came after. Yeah, Train Kept a Rolling. Yeah, I'll give it an 80. So it's just
Okay.
that song's so badass.
I'll give it an 84. Okay, next song is from 1966. And this is the Sonics, He's Waiting. Sonics, He's Waiting. So, I mean, that's kind of more garage band, but...
Yeah, I was going to say they're like a more garagey version of the King. Like,
yeah, with a little more screaming and stuff, and a little rattier guitar, edgier guitar sound. A little bit, slightly. But yeah, they're from Tacoma, Washington. They're formed in 1960.
I was going to say, like, they sounded like a British band, but then it was like that like break where they like, you know, they kind of all screamed, and then it like the song changed up. Like that sounded almost like surf rock.
Yeah, it's kind of the beat of it and stuff, like the sound of the drums.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that's like does that qualify as a lead or as a solo?
Yep. Well, everything's Chuck Berry, basically.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Yeah. I want to recommend something like on YouTube. They have live at Easy Street Records in Seattle in 2015, and they do a full concert. That's freaking outstanding. Like they have a younger drummer now because these guys always had solid, really pushy drums. And like, check out that whole live video. I mean, that guy playing drums in this 2015 Easy Street Records live video, that guy could power a small city. It's amazing. So good. But yeah, I love the Sonics, and like they were kind of garagey and, you know, kind of Kinks style, but like he's saying he's waiting. He's talking to a girl that lied to him that Satan is waiting for her.
Whoa.
And they have a song called The Witch. They have a song called Psycho. They have a song called Strychnine about just like how he's into drinking strychnine and stuff.
Jeez.
So there's like a little like kind of dark underbelly to these guys too. You know, it's kind of
right.
I mean, it's kind of novelty, but it was like also like part of their vibe. So to me, that's what makes it kind of approach metal in 1966.
Yeah, because they were cashing in on the evil thing.
Yeah, yeah. My favorite song of theirs is called Cinderella. But to me, this one was like kind of had that darkness to it along with the heaviness to it. So don't give up yet. You know, if you don't think this is metal, don't give up yet, because we're heading into more metal territory. We're just starting out early, you know.
Yeah. These are all
the groundwork. Yeah, we're putting the foundation down.
Yeah, so we're chugging forward towards metal.
Yeah. So, what do you give the Sonics?
Yeah, I liked how much they reminded me of the Kinks.
Yeah.
And like, were they contemporaries, or were the Kinks already? The Kinks were already a thing at this point.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much in the same vein.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah, just the fact that they're kind of like they sound like an unpolished Kinks. I'm gonna go a little low. I'll give them a 70.
Okay. Yeah, I love the Sonics because like this is when I was getting into punk rock. Like to me, these guys they're probably more punk than they are metal, but they did have that kind of dark edge. But to me, this is like the proto punk stuff that like me and my friends that I jammed with were like excited about because it's kind of poppy and fun to play. Like, yeah, when we had the Joe Fortune band when I was like 14. Like this was like what we were really into.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll give them like a 78. This isn't my favorite Sonic song, but it's still a cool song. Just got a really swinging beat to it.
Yeah. It reminded me of a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. All right, we're moving into my birth year, 1967. So do you have your Cimmerillion handy?
No, it's in the other room.
This band is the Riders of the Mark. Do you know off the top of your head what the Riders of the Mark were all about?
Well, I think there's a couple different things. Like this probably is a Lord of the Rings Mark reference to the Rohirrim.
Yeah.
But like the Riders of the Mark were also like a sort of like proto-Germanic knights. Like yeah, like mounted knights.
Okay, this is the Riders of the Mark. This is 1967. The Riders of the Mark, and this is like the longest song title that we've had on the show yet.
Get a running start. See if you can do it in one take.
The electric insides and metallic complexion. Did I mess it up?
The electronic insides.
Oh, the electronic insides and metallic complexion that make up Herr Dr. Krieg. Oh man.
So
it's like if Lemmy Kilmister was in the Monkees or something.
Right.
Yeah, oh man.
An LSD drip out of the water faucet.
And this was also an early song that featured synthesizer.
Yeah,
you hear like those cool little noises. Yeah. Oh man. So this is 1967. It's out of New Jersey, and nobody really knows like what the heck was going on here. Like the two people that are listed as producing the album are like kind of these pop music writers, like that would just write pop songs.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I recognized a couple of the names.
Yeah, but then it has this band name. Yeah, John Hill, Don Cochran.
Yeah, I've heard of Don Cochran.
So I don't know who played on this. It might be out of New Jersey. There's just like, it's aired in mystery. Anyways, it's kind of a goofy song, but it's kind of cool too.
I have reason to believe that drugs may have been involved.
Maybe, or it could have been people that were totally straight that thought that this is what people on drugs would want to listen to, and they thought they could sell some records by putting something like this out.
Yeah, maybe they heard some psychedelic stuff and were like, "Hey, we could do this."
Yeah,
it sounds like
that. And there's an honorable mention from around this time period that I'm going to do later that is kind of in the same boat as what this is, but there's a tiny bit more known about that one, but we'll cover that later. What do you rate the Riders of the Mark, the electronic insides and metal complexion that make up Herr Dr. Krieg?
Yeah. It's, I don't know. Are you familiar with the term hat on a hat?
Yeah.
Where it's like when something's just too much or like unnecessary, but it's like that's like wearing a hat on top of another hat. Like,
but sometimes too much is just enough.
Oh yeah. I've always been I think I mentioned before in previous episodes that I'm the more is more kind of guy. But
right.
Like I want to rate it pretty high because possible Tolkien reference.
Yeah.
It's got all the weirdness that I like.
It does have the word metal in it.
It does have the word metal in it. And
but
then it's
unlike some of those other songs that had the word metal in it but weren't really metal, this song has the word metal in it, and it is kind of metal a little bit.
Uh, it's a bit of a stretch.
It's
Yeah,
more
I mean,
metal than Don Henley's heavy metal, and it's
oh,
only
for
metal.
sure.
It's not
Yeah.
heavy metal.
Yeah, I mean, but, it's also got, like, clearly there's some lore going on here, like,
Yeah,
Hair
who's
Doctor
Hair
Krieg,
Doctor Krieg?
he kinda sounds like an Iron Man kinda prototype, like,
Exactly. That's what I was thinking
they
too.
talk about it as, like,
Is that who Sabbath was singing about? Air Doctor Krieg? Is he the Iron Man? Is he the proto Tony Stark?
his memory banks remember the war, and his metal hand is on the door, and, like, there's some there's some lore happening here, and,
Yeah.
it kinda makes me, like, wanna see a mashup head to head with, Hair Doctor Krieg versus Doctor Funkenstein, like, who would win?
Mm.
I wanna see a super fight between
Oh
those
man.
2.
And Maggot, yeah, Maggot Brain almost made the list as the honorable mention
Oh,
list
yeah.
as proto metal. Speaking of Funkadelic. So can you put a number on the electric insides of Air Doctor Krieg?
Oh, man,
I wish I had some like robot tallying sound effect that I could put right here. You're
right.
trying to think, put a number on it. I'll find something in post.
Yeah, there's gotta be some sort of, like, psychedelic non-number too, like a what's a
Oh,
irrational numbers.
yeah.
My score is an irrational number. Yeah, it's just a little too weird for me. I'm gonna give it a 65.
Okay.
I wanna go higher, but it's
I'll match as
yeah.
65 because I just I did hear like a little bit of a monkeys vibe to in there. So
Yeah, it kinda had like a swinging kinda melody to it, like yeah, kinda had like a Monkees, like da 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 da
yeah.
da.
Da, da,
Like,
da, 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 da.
yeah,
Yeah. Had a bit of a what's that song? Last Train to Clarksville or something.
yeah.
Had a little bit of the Last Train to Clarksville kind of thing in there.
That's an anti-war song, right?
Last Train to Clarksville?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that. I just thought it was about
yeah,
going to Clarksville or something.
yeah, it's about, like, meeting a girl at the like, he's being shipped off and he's been drafted, and, like, meet me at the take the last train to Clarksville before I get shipped off to Vietnam.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'm ever coming back again. Just might die face down in a jungle
Oh man.
in an unjust war. Yeah, pretty heavy duty for the monkeys, man.
Yeah. Uh so mathematically speaking, irrational numbers are real numbers. They're
Mhm,
just numbers that can't be expressed as the ratio of two integers.
mhm.
So they're not like made up numbers. They're real numbers. They're just they can't be expressed as the ratio of two integers.
Right, but, I'm pretty sure that Herr Dr. Krieg's operating system runs exclusively on irrational numbers.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Cool. All right. Now we're moving to 1968 with The Pretty Things. Old Man Going. There you go.
And they just end
Yep.
gnarly. Yeah, that was kind of another weird one.
Kind of a weird one. I mean, there's some psychedelic stuff in there, but like that main verse, I mean, you can like headbang to that, and
Yeah,
the way the guy's singing and stuff.
yeah, he definitely has that, like, venom spitting vocals that, like, King Diamond and Judas Priest and
Yeah, it's got a bit of a sneer to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
That sour boy Venom.
Yeah. Yeah, Pretty Things are kind of a trip.
Yeah. As much as it reminded me of, like, the vocals reminded me of Priest and Megadeth and King Diamond, it's like, yeah, he kind of reminded me a little bit more of a band that maybe should be an honorable mention.
Oh, who's that?
Tell me this guy doesn't sound like yet like a rat wearing like a newsboy cap.
Oh. Yeah,
River Bottom Nightmare Band.
Nightmare Band. Yeah, I hear that too.
He sounds just like that. The grass
Yeah.
does not grow on the places where we stop and stand. River Bottom Nightmare Band.
Yeah. Oh man. Yep. These guys like started in '63 in Kent. They were all art school buddies with the Rolling Stones. And Wikipedia's wrong. They'll tell you, oh, Keith Richards, Mick Jagger, it was the first quote unquote stable lineup of the Rolling Stones. But like Brian Jones actually started the Rolling Stones. And Keith Richards and Mick Jagger went to the same art school with these guys. But these guys, like some of these guys in this band, along with Brian Jones, were like the original Rolling Stones. But then they left to do the Pretty Things, and Jagger and Richards joined Jones, and that was the stable lineup, I guess.
Right.
Anyways, they were art school buddies with the original Rolling Stones guys. One of their spin-off bands, like a little later on, was the Pink Fairies, and two of the Pretty Things songs, Rosalind and Don't Bring Me Down, were covered on David Bowie's pinup album.
Yeah.
And in '74, Pretty Things were one of the first bands signed to Swan Song Records.
Nice.
So, they're kind of in the mix throughout, but they're not as well known as all those other bands we just kind of name dropped on.
Yeah, I love the Pinups album. Like, it's so rad. Yeah, and those are two of the standout songs on that.
Oh yeah, Pinups is great.
Huh. Yeah, I never knew that.
Maybe a couple other little Pinups connections. There's Shape of Things, Yardbirds, Jeff Beck. And we just talked about the Yardbirds a bit ago, but also it covers Friday on My Mind, which is the Easy Beats, which was George Young's band. So there's another tie back from AC/DC to the another degree of separation to the David Bowie's Pinups album.
Nice.
It's all in the mix. We're not too many degrees off here.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable for a band. One of the members was a bear wearing a cape. Oh wait, sorry. That's River Bottom Nightmare Band again.
Oh man. Yeah, this band didn't need an aquarium for one of their band members to be on stage.
Their drummer was a fish.
Oh man. I think the fish is just a backup singer.
You might be right.
He would just poke his head up out of the aquarium and like spit water out every once in a while. Oh, thanks for buying me that River Bottom Nightmare Band shirt a while back.
Oh man. Yeah, that was one of those social media like ads. It was just like, okay, you got me.
Yeah, I get a laugh every time I wear that one.
Yeah. Sometimes the algorithm just has your number. It's just
take my money. Here, take my money.
It's the Fry meme. Shut up and take my money.
So I don't know, you want to rank that one?
Yeah, like you said, the verses were pretty heavy. The guy had like some pretty solid metal vocals. And then like the lead guitar was actually, it was all distorted and
Yeah,
and
got a
that's
little
pretty heavy.
psychedelic, like Ravi Shankar or whatever was going
Yeah,
on back
later
then.
on.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it first came in, it was pretty heavy. Yeah, it did just have a lot of psychedelic stuff in it, which always takes me away from the heaviness.
Right.
Man,
There were
yeah, that's hard.
elements. There were metal elements there.
Yeah, but then the stuff that weren't metal elements were decidedly not metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say 62.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 70. Just as a
Okay.
song. You know,
Mhm,
I know there's just little snippets of metal in there, like moments,
mhm.
metal moments. We should have a metal moment segment.
Oh, man. Should
Yeah,
also have a bonus episode about River Bottom Nightmare Band.
yeah, yeah. I'll give it a 70. I mean, Pretty Things is like a cool rabbit hole to go down because it's not, they're not like on the top 10 or anything like that. So here, hold on, just a sec. Let me get this. Hello, drop your call.
Yeah, I tried to call you and then it just went out.
Oh,
So you had declined my call.
no. Oh, also
busted.
for our we're in the middle of our podcast. This is the first I heard my phone ring. Oh, it's
Oh.
okay.
That's
No,
all I
no, I didn't get the mail.
wanted.
Okay, love you. Bye. So that was my wife calling, but it goes with the episode because my ringtone is Iron Maiden Wrathchild.
Nice.
All right. Well, I think we wrapped that one up anyways, like kind of right before then.
My ringtone is the Swedish version of Waterloo.
Oh
By
no.
ABBA.
Nice. Not very metal.
Oh, although that band Ghost does a cover of Marionette,
Oh,
the ABBA song Marionette, and I mean, you can argue that Ghost is not metal,
they're metal.
and they're metal, but they're also like they're pretty pop oriented, and then like the people who say it as a derogatory term, I don't have time for, but I get their argument when they call it ABBA metal.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the Ghost version is actually like a little slower and like not as frantic and like a little less heavy than
Whoa.
the ABBA version. Like the ABBA version's all manic and like
Yeah.
yikes.
Metal is a big tent.
True.
So in my book. Doesn't mean I like it all, but it's a big tent.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, for better or for worse.
all right. So this is gonna close out our pre-Elephant in the Room 1970 Black Sabbath. This is gonna close out our before Sabbath segment here. This is 1969. I'll have some honorable mentions that are pre-Sabbath, but this is just the year by year list.
The BS episode before Sabbath.
Yeah. This is the before Sabbath portion still. So 1969, this is one of my all-time favorite bands. That's will be a convincer episode down the road sometime. This is King Crimson with 21st Century Schizoid Man. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. A little bit of like James Bond chasing kind of music thrown in there, but pretty heavy for the time. Yeah.
I guess.
The beginning and the end.
Is it as heavy as a band with like synthesized trumpets?
No, those are real horns.
Are they really?
There's nothing synthesized in there. Even their keyboard sounds that they used a lot were not synthesizer. They were mellotron, which is actual instruments recorded to little lengths of tape, and then you press the button and the tape head plays on the tape.
That's crazy.
L. Ron Hubbard had one of those on his yacht.
There you go. It's a ringing endorsement.
That's from their first album. That's when Michael Giles was playing drums. Giles and Fripp is a cool, like, pre-King Crimson band, but
right.
So that was before Bill Bruford was playing with him. And that's also when Greg Lake was singing and playing bass for them before he went on to Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And before Carl Palmer left also to join Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and Carl Palmer was formerly the drummer of Atomic Rooster, who almost made the list. Maybe belongs on the list of proto metal, but that was Carl Palmer's first band.
What kind of a cocktail would a Carl Palmer be?
A Carl Palmer?
Yeah, as opposed to an Arnold Palmer.
It might be like a martini that gets stirred with a drumstick.
Maybe.
I don't know. Have to ask a bartender friend.
Iced tea and lemonade as an Arnold Palmer.
Oh. And also Emerson, Lake and Palmer had Manicore Records, which made available the signing of Stray Dog, which is another one of my favorite bands of all time.
Right.
And almost made the list. But they never would have happened if it weren't for Manicore Records. So I'll let you rate that one first. I know prog is kind of indigestible for you. Like,
yeah.
Like kind of is like those potato chips that they make where like the fat doesn't get absorbed in your...
Oh, yeah, like Olestra or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I know prog is kind of like Olestra for you. It doesn't really get digested all that well.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it could even be like a gluten sensitivity thing too.
Oh, just could be slight irritant.
Yeah,
to your ear lining.
Yes, it's my cilia.
Cochlear
cilia. Yeah, man. I don't know. The heavy parts aren't that heavy, and then just the pauses were like a little too long and contrived.
Oh wait, okay, don't score yet. I remember what I was going to say. Think about your score. Yeah. There's all this lore out there in the music, internet era music about Jimi Hendrix and things he said.
Oh yeah, the apocryphal Rory Gallagher quote.
Yeah, I think Dick Cavett or somebody asked Jimi Hendrix, "How does it feel to be the best guitar player in the world?" And he said, I don't know.
Ask Rory Gallagher.
Yeah, I don't know. Ask Rory Gallagher. And I mean, it probably says more about how humble Jimi Hendrix was than like how great a lot of these artists were. But he told Robert Fripp backstage one time, "You guys are the best band in the world." About King Crimson back in this era. There's also the stuff where he said Terry Katz was the best guitar player or something, but he never actually said that. He just backstage, he told somebody that Terry Katz was a better guitar player than he was. I don't know. I don't know how anybody can be like I'm not going to bash Chicago. I'll just stop right there. But like a lot of people have taken that and ran with it. It's like, no, that one says more about how humble Jimi Hendrix was than like how amazing and underrated Terry Katz was.
Right. So, yeah. It's like the Rory Gallagher one rings true, even though it's probably not true. But
well, he did say that one.
I thought he actually didn't actually say it.
No, he actually did say that.
Oh,
but it was probably just him being humble too, like he was.
right.
But that was the name that came to the front of his brain when asked that question. And
Right.
I don't know. I was watching Rory Gallagher play something the other night. Oh, he was on Midnight Special the other night, the one that Kinks
Right.
hosted. And it's like, yeah, he's
Yeah.
up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, King Crimson's another one that falls into that lore, but that one actually happened also. So, this is like straight from the horse's mouth stuff. Okay, so you want to put a number on that one?
Yeah, like I was saying, that it's like the heavy parts weren't really that heavy. Pauses were a little too long and a little too contrived. It definitely sounded like James Bond chase music.
Yeah.
At points. It kind of had like some weird, like kind of cartoony stuff going on. Like the horns just like weren't really working for me.
Yeah,
So,
it gets a little spastic at times.
yeah. You have to go like a 55.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, sorry. It doesn't do it for me.
That's okay. I'm going to give it a 92 because this is in the Court of the Crimson King, their first album. You drop the needle on the first track, and that's what you hear. I love King Crimson. I didn't listen to them as much when we were kids. Like, so it's not like Permanent Waves. Like I listened to Permanent Waves every single night. So that's probably, and we shared a bedroom. I'm sure that's like in your DNA a little bit.
Yeah.
But I never played King Crimson as much back in that when I was still living at home. But after I left home, like, yeah, King Crimson was on heavy rotation.
Yeah, or you like put some headphones on me and we're like, listen to this song. It was Free Will by Rush.
Oh yeah.
It was just like, yeah, it was life changing. And it was like, whoa.
Oh man.
This is different.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm going to give him a 92.
Okay. Nice.
Give him a 92. Bring that average up. Restore balance to the universe.
You're fair.
All right.
How like the album cover, like the music kind of makes me make that face.
Fair enough. All right. I might have to do a vengeful rating
or
down the road here. Okay. Speaking of BS, are you ready to move into the post BS era?
Yes.
This was probably exactly concurrent or maybe slightly predated Black Sabbath's first album. Okay. This is 1970, Sir Lord Baltimore, Kingdom Come.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah, we're getting somewhere now.
Balance restored.
Now you're cooking with gas.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that had all the ingredients. That just like they just needed to like dial it up like a degree.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much just metal. Like
yeah. Yeah, I think this came out like early 1970.
Yeah, super doomy. Like that guitar solo at the end, like
yeah,
it was like heavy metal guitar solo. The dude kind of had like that little harshness on his vocals, like
Oh man, that guy's got a great voice.
Yeah.
The album cover even has
Yeah. It's like a bone pirate ship. Like
yeah.
that could come out on an album now, and you would buy it and be like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
a heavy metal album cover.
And I like those guys. That's the song that best fit for this episode. But like every song on there is cool. Like for the proto kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great band, great album. If you haven't heard Sir Lord Baltimore, it's definitely one to check out if you're into this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd heard it before. It had been a while.
Yeah. They were out of New York, and I think they only made like 2 albums. They might have made an album in the 90s, like they tried to get back together or something, but then one of the guys passed away. So, unless I'm thinking of another band, but yeah, they're definitely some of the progenitors.
Yeah, like so during that song I was thinking, and we'll talk about it again later on in the playlist, but like it's not really definitions, but one of my things that helps me categorize something as proto, like a proto ska song or a proto metal song or whatever, is a proto new wave song. Is if you could imagine one of your favorite artists of that genre doing a cover of it. And it's like that song, it's got all the elements, and it's like there are so many different bands that could just take that song and they'd have to change very little and and do a cover of it, and it would
and they could
sound
make it even heavier too, and just
it would only have to be slightly heavier. Or like the other thing, like it got super doomy in the middle, and it's like imagine like a lo-fi version, like a slightly slower down version with
tuned
less
down
dynamic
a bit lower.
vocals. Like imagine Witchcraft doing a cover of that song.
That'd be cool. They'd probably sound kind of just like that though.
Yeah,
because they're because they're kind of trad, like harken back to the old style. Yeah, I mean, I could hear a band doing a cover of that Pretty Things tune. You know, if they like altered the little fake sitar guitar solo and the strummy stuff, like I could definitely hear that being redone. But yeah, this song needs very little to bring it up to speed. There's a thing in guitar playing, I don't know who first said it, but if you make a mistake, just repeat it and people will think you meant to do it on purpose. Or maybe it's like a jazz thing or something, you make a mistake, just play it twice and then it won't be a mistake anymore. And that guitar solo at the end was pretty metal, but I think I heard that technique being implemented at a certain point in there.
It's not virtuoso guitar playing, but
it sounded like he was going for something else and flubbed it. So he just like kept repeating the flub. But I don't know.
Yeah, but it was hot and it was loud.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those guitars at the beginning where it's like they kind of layer them. It's like, dang, that tone is like pretty searing.
Yeah, and just super doomy for like 1970. Like,
yeah. Do you know who Sir Lord Baltimore was?
No.
He was a character in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like some like what's that band? What's that one band? They're named after some British sea captain or something.
Right.
Oh, what are those guys called? I love them.
Yeah, that plus the pirate ship made out of bones on the album cover makes you think. Yeah, it has like a nautical vibe, so you can imagine like, oh yeah, Sir Lord Baltimore.
Yeah, being some British sea captain or something. Speaking of nautical themes, and we will have a whole maritime episode.
Oh, strap in.
Another band that's like right up this alley. If you like these guys, And I didn't put them on as an honorable mention or anything because to me they're more proto stoner doom than even these guys. And that's
Oh wow.
High Tide Sea Shanties. Do you know that? Are you familiar with that album?
No.
Yeah, High Tide Sea Shanties. If you like this stuff, definitely check them out because they came real close to making the list.
Yeah, that might be chocolate and peanut butter territory, like doomy shanties.
Yeah, ghost ship stuff.
Right. I never made you listen to Visions of Atlantis.
Oh man,
They're so. I mean, they are what they are. They're just. They are some salty cheese. When are these guys from?
1970. Oh, Sea
No,
Shanties, High Tide.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one might be like 69 or something.
Okay. Oh yeah. See. Okay. Dude, I'm gonna listen to those guys so hard when we get off.
Oh yeah, they're badass.
That looks right up my alley, dude.
Super doomies, super heavy psych.
Yeah, and another rad album cover too. That wood block cut. Yeah, dang, dude. Okay. Yeah. Sir Lord Baltimore, Kingdom Come. Yeah, for proto metal, plus just that song it is what it is, man. I'm gonna have to give that a 93.
Cool. I'll give it a 90. Yeah, we're definitely like, I had to justify a lot of the earlier ones, like why I included them and give my justifications for it. But this one, I don't need to justify it.
No.
And it's cool. It's heavy. I love the guy's voice.
Yeah.
Those drum fills are just really fiery.
Oh yeah.
Heavy.
Oh yeah.
Hard hitting.
That's the band I was trying to think of. Like, imagine like if Priestess did a cover of that, they wouldn't have to change a note.
Oh man, yeah. All right, should we move into the post-Sabbath era?
Well, if I want to move away from that.
I guess we already did, because this is concurrent with them.
Yeah.
Okay. Another band that needs no introduction other than the fact that you don't know who I'm going to mention, so I do have to introduce it. And you're going to hear a lot more about this band if you keep listening to the podcast. So if you don't like these guys, then probably now's a good time to pull the chute. But this is 1971, Deep Purple Fireball.
I love that song.
Oh man, I love that band.
I used to listen to that album at work all the time. Like that. I think it's a air conditioner unit starting up.
Oh, at the beginning?
Yeah.
Or like an elevator lift or something?
Yeah, it sounds like an elevator, but I think it was something different.
It's some piece of industrial something or other.
At the recording studio. Or in the building the recording studio was in.
These guys are so killer.
Oh yeah. And it's weird. Like the doomy thing, like Deep Purple is not doomy at all. So
right.
Sir Lord Baltimore actually sounded heavier.
Yeah.
By contrast, Deep Purple with the organ and the tambourine at the end.
Right.
Sounded a little more like throwback, like rock and roll.
But there's a ferocity to their playing.
Oh yeah.
And that the tempo of it.
Yeah.
They lay the groundwork for people to want to play faster and harder. Because everybody was getting heavy heavier, all around the same time. Everybody's getting heavier, but like to like play it fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Cactus is another one that almost made the list on here, but they're not quite metal enough. But like their version of Parchment Farm, like everybody says, Blue Cheer is the beginning of heavy metal. But listen to Blue Cheer's Parchment Farm, and then right after that, listen to Cactus's Parchment Farm.
So much heavier.
Yeah.
If you just kick open the door. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, whereas like it's pretty easy to be heavy and slow.
Yeah.
To be heavy and fast. Like, yeah, it takes some real effort. And then my favorite heavy metal singer of all time, his favorite singer of all time.
Bruce.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Bruce Dickinson, if you ask him who his favorite singer of all time is, like,
yeah. Well, and see, Ian Gillan is my favorite singer of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, Dio's amazing. Dio's my favorite metal singer.
Mm-hmm.
But Ian Gillan is like my favorite singer overall. And like, I don't know if you could see in my room here behind me, I have a Ludwig drum set with a 26-inch bass drum. Like I got it because that's what John Bonham played, but it's also what Ian Pace plays.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a Hammond organ over there in the corner. And I have a Rickenbacker bass over there. Yeah. I have the Strat and the Marshall over here and here. And like Deep Purple is probably one of my favorite bands of all time. Top 3, easy. And I used to play this game, 7 Degrees of Deep Purple, where like you could name a band and I would name how they were connected to Deep Purple within 7 degrees, like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing.
Right.
Like if they played with them on stage at one point or appeared on an album with them or played live with them at some point. Yeah, I could connect them within 7 degrees. But then that got too easy after I went down that wormhole. So then it was like connecting 2 completely different bands to each other through Deep Purple.
Nice.
So, yeah, if anybody thinks I can't connect bands to each other through Deep Purple, hit up our email and I might throw that on a future show. If anybody sends in like, oh, there's no way he could connect this band to Deep Purple or this band to this band through Deep Purple.
Right.
Yeah, I'm throwing down the gauntlet. Send us an email.
Nice. Yeah, and a lot of bands have like dual guitars, or like, there's some like rad hip hop bands that have 2 drummers.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite bands, Heidevolk, has 2 baritone singers, and it just sounds so badass. But not very many bands have 2 Ians. Yeah, Ian Pace and Ian Gillan.
Oh, right. Well, and also John Lord, he played his Hammond organ through a Marshall.
Right.
So, I mean, he could do those rhythm guitar parts. Like if Richie went off into his like self-indulgent solos, like John Lord could totally hold down the fort.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and here's another metal trivia question for all you metalheads out there. What was the first Van Halen song with keyboards in it?
Are we going to answer it now?
I'll answer it now. Most people would think 1984, something off 1984, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Jump or something. But it was And the Cradle Will Rock. Eddie is playing a Wurlitzer electric piano through a Marshall.
Nice.
And everybody thinks it's guitar, but if you listen to it, and there's some keyboard stuff on Fair Warning. But yeah, And the Cradle Will Rock. If you listen close, you think it's his guitar, but it's actually a Wurlitzer piano through a Marshall.
Cool.
So a Deep Purple Fireball. Now, like Sabbath is definitely the elephant in the room when it comes to talking about early metal. But to me, like Well, they tuned down their guitars for Master of Reality and got that really heavy sound. They were definitely pioneers, but like to me, they're kind of more doom or like stoner than true metal until like their later stuff. Like when Dio hopped on board and like even Ozzy. Like I don't know. That's just my opinion about metal. And people definitely heard Black Sabbath, but like you listen to this Deep Purple Fireball, like this album hit #1 in the UK, Germany, Austria, and Sweden. So I mean, I think Deep Purple really is what kicked off like that heavy sound, more so than Sabbath. And if you think about like where metal came from, like with the new wave of British heavy metal and stuff like that, I mean, those type of bands, they were way more into Purple than they were Sabbath at the time.
Right. Yeah, but you can't sell Sabbath out.
Oh, I'm not selling them short at all. They're definitely the elephant in the room for this whole entire episode.
Because I mean, Doom is like an entire like umbrella of genres under the heavy metal tent.
Right, and I love it. It's one of my favorites.
And they perfected the just like, oh, we have this song about the devil, but like, don't get mad at us because it's about how evil the devil is.
But there is branches of the tree, and I think one of them's Purple and one of them's Sabbath.
For sure.
So that's my opinion. And Deep Purple was huge. I mean, they were huge. They toured the world. They drove people crazy.
Yep. Right. Rating?
Yeah, you want to rate that one?
I'll give it a 90, only because it's not Sweet Child in Time.
Oh man. Yeah, I'll match your 90.
But it's like I don't want to give it higher just because there's other Deep Purple songs that are just like,
well, right. Yeah. I'm thinking like I would rate it higher, but I'm thinking about like our top 10 list. It's like, do I want Fireball like way up there? I mean, it might end up being there, but
true.
We got to leave room at the top.
Yeah.
And there are Deep Purple songs I like better, but the reason it's here today on this list is because of that tempo and the ferocity. That drum beat is the metal drum beat.
Yeah, but it's like I gotta leave room on the tape for Highway Star.
Okay, yeah, Highway Star, Space Truckin'.
So like
on and on and on.
As high as I can go. Yeah.
Okay. Let me explain it this way. The Beatles made a lot of people want to start bands. Deep Purple made a lot of people want to play heavier music in their bands.
Right.
So that's why they're on the list today. All right. Are we ready to move into 1972?
Sure.
Oh man. This one's going to be pretty convoluted. This is we'll get into it after the song, but this is Tiger B. Smith, Tiger Rock.
Whoa.
All right. Tiger Rock. That one started off with kind of that whooshing sound at the beginning of the Deep Purple song. Mm-hmm. This one had the tiger growling at the beginning of the song.
Yeah, that was cool. I think these guys raided River Bottom Nightmare Band's closet.
Except for the bass player. I think he might have started Metal Fashion. You see that getup that
even tell what he was wearing. It looked like a lace dress. Like what even was that?
I don't know. It was like garter hose or something, or
yeah, it's like the video's so blurry. Yeah, it's like I can't even tell. It's so weird.
Yeah, I mean they are from Germany. Maybe he like found some like Nazi leather boy stuff at a thrift store or something, or from his uncle's attic or something.
It doesn't look leather though. Like it looks like he's wearing like
it's definitely has like a Victoria's Secret vibe.
Oh yeah, but yeah. From the best I can tell, it looks like he's wearing like an old timey, like swim onesie, like a V-neck onesie with green boots, and
Maybe
then
like a slit leotard kind of thing or something.
Yeah,
leotard
or like
with panels cut out or something.
Well, like a wrestling, like a white wrestling onesie, like short sleeve V-neck under like some.
No. That's not a white wrestling onesie. He's not wearing anything under that, whatever that black thing is.
Well, I really hope he is.
No, he's not. That's the whole point.
Yeah, because it's like
he's giving Halford like a run for his money here.
He's not. He's like giving.
No.
I don't know. He's giving Cher a run for her money.
It's a little fuzzy.
Well, no. So what I'm saying is, like, if he's wearing anything underneath, the top of it is like a lace dress that has like the underdress like removed. So it's like just the lace part. Like it's supposed to be like a little bit sheer because it has like
I don't know.
one or two more layers underneath it that like aren't there.
It's something.
It's something.
I think there's like a little platform boot action, thigh high. Yeah,
I don't think they're thigh high. I think they go up to his calf.
Yeah, like knee high or something. But yeah.
They're like, well, they're not knee high because doesn't knee high go over your knee? They go up like
up to the knee. Yeah, well, there's definitely something going on here. So note the the way the bass player's dressed. We got two bass drums. So we got double bass drum.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean the other guy's like pretty much like pretty satiny.
Mm-hmm.
Satin.
Yeah, it's got like a gold lame jacket on and like shiny red bell bottoms and some platforms. And the drummer could be completely naked for all we know. Like we can't see what the drummer's wearing at all.
Could be wearing a tiger striped loincloth.
Maybe. And there's a stuffed tiger in the foreground.
Yeah.
It shakes its tail every once in a while.
Did you ever see that Satanic Panic movie about the guy in Staten Island or something? He like the two guys murdered their friend or something.
No, the only one I've seen is Mazes and Monsters with Tom Hanks, and there's a Great American Hero.
Yeah. No, this is a documentary about like guys that actually like murdered their friend, but he always misspelled Satan as Satin.
Oh man,
I shouldn't laugh. I mean, because somebody got murdered, but yeah. Speaking of satanic panic, there's a little bit of satanic panic going on in this video.
Yeah, I've got I saved it to my phone. I sent it to my friends every once in a while. It's some graffiti, like just really crappy spray paint on plywood. It says "Hail Stan."
So this video says 1974. This was filmed for German TV, or WDR in 1974, but this song is from 1972. And they're obviously not playing it live here. It's just lip sync for the TV station.
Right. Yeah, we've talked about everything except for the music.
Yeah. These guys are from,
like you said, convoluted.
These guys are from Hesse.
Oh yeah,
which is like where our ancestors came out of before they went to Russia. Yeah, so they're from the Hessen region. They're from a town called Bad Camberg, which is a pretty cool name for a town.
I think it's Bad Homburg.
Yeah, I'm sure that's how it's pronounced, but it's spelled Bad Camberg.
Oh, Camberg.
Yeah, Camberg.
That means bath. There was like a Roman bath there at some point.
Oh, okay.
Or like a mineral spring.
Isn't Camberg a type of cheese too, like Camberger or something?
No, that's Camembert.
Oh, okay. Oh, French. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead and give this one a rating. Tiger Rock's a great album too. If this is fun for you, like check out the whole Tiger Rock album.
Yeah, during the Napoleonic era, the soldiers from Hesse were Hessians.
Oh, okay.
And famously, the Headless Horsemen, like they fought in the American Revolution on the British side, and the Headless Horseman was a Hessian. And that is also like Hessian cloth is like what sandbags and like burlap and stuff is made out of, like hemp fiber bags, which is also the root word for Hesser.
The more you know.
The more you know. This has been Word Origins.
A metal moment.
And this is definitely the most Hesher song so far on the playlist.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, so it all makes sense. So yeah, when you said you were from Hesse, I was like, oh yeah.
Makes sense.
It all makes sense. Maybe that's what the bass player's wearing.
Hessian cloth?
Yeah.
Nah.
An old gunny sack that's all tattered.
No, there's something else going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, who are you? Yeah, he's not giving Rob Halford a run for his money. Because Rob Halford never showed that much skin. He's given Cher a run for her money. Like,
okay.
That's a Cher outfit, dude.
Oh man.
Anyway.
No, see, you're thinking he's wearing like a wrestling one.
I was trying to listen to the music.
Oh, sorry.
We're getting distracted by their outfits again.
No, see, those aren't sleeves. Those are just like little armband things.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just too much.
Yeah, you're thinking he's wearing like a wrestling onesie.
Yeah, they look like sleeves, and then like.
No, he's just got a farmer's tan, and he's got a little like armband thing. Yeah, he may not be giving Halford a run for his money. He's like more giving like Klaus Schwab a run for his money. Speaking of Germans, you ever seen that picture of Klaus Schwab at the beach?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's how Germans dress when they go to the beach.
No, a lot of Germans go to the beach naked, and it's just it's not a big deal, and not a big deal. Why are you making?
Well, I'd rather
weird?
see somebody naked than somebody dressed like this.
Yeah, if they're dressed like this, it's for a reason. Their choices were made.
There's purpose to it. It's not just a lack of clothing. It's what they chose to put on.
Yeah.
And it's probably not an easy get up to get into either.
Who knows?
You might need some helpers to squeeze into a little number like that.
Yeah, see, you might be right. They might be like stockings. We're getting distracted by his outfit again. It's because it does have sort of.
Did we rate this one yet?
No, I started playing the video again to listen to the song.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, all right. 1 second. We are never going to get this episode done. Yeah, see, what I thought was maybe like a lace dress, like layered over
Or like
something, or
bike
possibly
shorts with the
nothing.
little side panel. But no, that's a
Maybe.
cutout.
Yeah, I think he might be wearing like fishnet stockings, like all slung low, like Odorous Horungus wore. And then maybe this is like the cuttlefish. Maybe this is the the tiger.
I don't want to think about it anymore.
Yeah, you brought it up again.
Yeah.
Okay, getting back to the song. Okay.
It's pretty metal though.
I wouldn't call it metal. The riff is pretty rad though. Like that
Pretty
that
hair
opening.
metal. I mean, hair metal bands aspire to dress like that.
Yeah, but we're not to talk about the song again, Eric. Come on. Killing me. Like this riff is pretty rad. It's not metal, but it's rad. Okay, that part, yeah. This part right here, this is pretty metal.
Yeah. See, like I'm more like I don't think like whole song. I'm like more of like riff elements. And like right there, I mean that could be like that intro before they jumped into this part. This part sounds like it could be like a Motorhead song or something.
Yes, for sure.
And the first part, I think, was almost like you could almost call it plagiarism of like Bird of Prey from Uriah Heep. And that's another glaring omission on here. That's another glaring omission that almost made this list. But you know that da da da, you know, you can almost hear like the guy doing his screechy vocals on Bird of Prey or Gypsy or something.
Right. Oh man, Gypsy.
We'll cover Uriah Heep, and they almost made the list here, but I'm just picking songs from each year. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, I did a Google image search for Tiger B. Smith. There is a picture of them naked.
Tiger B. Smith?
I mean, from the nips up, but
that was kind of a thing, though. There was a lot of naked bands album covers back then.
That's true.
A lot of hairy dudes with gold chains.
They definitely have a glam thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sad. Is that what it is? It's almost disappointing. Okay, after a break and some internet research, I think we've gotten to the bottom of this. Eric thought the bass player's outfit was giving Rob Halford a run for his money. I thought it was giving Cher a run for her money. Yeah, it's like a one-piece leotard thing. It does have like cutouts on the side, but what we thought was lace was some sort of like animal print, like spotted thing. Like it's white with like black spots. It's giving Steven Tyler a run for his money. Like early 90s Steven Tyler a run for his money.
I can definitely see that. You wouldn't be missing a beat if you had like a big feather boa or something with it.
Yeah. Let me check out the earrings he's got too.
So much for our fashion segment.
Yeah. All the best podcasts have fashion segments.
Can you put a number on the awesomeness that is Tiger B. Smith?
Well, it's like I've had to go back and listen to the song like 3 times so far. And like you were saying, like when all the instruments kick in and they like the song really gets going, like it sounds like Motorhead. Like it's like, you know, it's got the two bass drums.
Yeah.
It's got all the ingredients. So it is definitely heavier than you'd think it would be. It's just like the outfits are so distracting.
And the little tiger, like somebody's moving its tail around and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a stuffed tiger in the foreground. All right, I gotta go back and listen to it one more time.
Oh man.
like 50 seconds in, like it sounds like early Motorhead. Like,
yeah. Well, 1972, I could have just done a whole show on just stuff from 1972. But
true.
to me, when I heard that section of that song, I was like, okay, these guys will be 72. These guys will represent 1972.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'll give it a 72 then.
Oh, nice. Yeah, actually, I have two of my honorable mentions. They're also 72, but they didn't end up as being 72 because they're like kind of more than just that little snapshot of time. So,
yeah. How about you? What's your score?
I'll give it a 70. There's a little bit of a cheese factor there, but it's the guy's just exuding it with like his like I don't know, just his whole vibe. He's just like exuding like if they had a different singer, it wouldn't sound like this Motorhead riff. Okay, well, okay, the sense in which I mean it is, you know his boots that say Tiger B. Smith, his custom boots, and then like if you look at the guy, his hairstyle, like his size, his voice, I would, and I'm not saying this is like anything like from Wikipedia or anything, but and I just would be totally unsurprised if I dug a little deeper and found out that before his music career, this guy was a professional wrestler.
Well, yeah, 100%.
Okay. So that's like the angle I'm coming from, you know, like he might even still had contacts from the professional wrestling world that helped him, his band, like put those outfits together.
Right.
That's the angle of like the manliness, you know?
Okay. Yeah, that's not
like
really
how some of, how some of Dad's friends were, you know?
Oh yeah.
With that little like kind of fro thing going on and like
yeah, wearing the Union Jack bikini briefs under the kilt.
Yeah. Yeah. Tiger B. Smith I could see him having a former life as a professional wrestler.
For sure. Yeah, it's more showmanship than like
right.
Yeah, like showman.
Okay. Okay. I knew this one was gonna like be a point of discussion when I put it on.
Oh man.
Did you ever get to mess with any tigers?
Oh yeah. Never on the like the volunteer side. The biggest cats they had were cheetahs.
Okay.
And cheetahs don't really count as big cats. They're pretty much just dogs, except for female cheetahs. Female cheetahs will tear you a new one. Like, but yeah, male cheetahs like are like pretty much.
They're the Labrador retrievers of the cat
They're
world.
not even Labrador retrievers. They're like labradoodles. Like,
okay.
And I'm not knocking like labradoodles are like the sweetest dogs. Like I've never met a labradoodle that was a jerk. But yeah, I did get to hold a baby. I didn't get to hold it, but I got to pet a baby tiger at Marine World back before they were an amusement park.
Oh, okay.
Or back when they went full Six Flags.
I thought maybe like with the volunteer stuff, you had to cross paths with a tiger.
No.
Okay.
No, like as we all know from Netflix, like the big cat in captivity world is
like a whole different ball of wax. Yeah.
Yeah.
To spare us spinning off even further. Yeah, let's hop into 1973. I love these guys. Their earlier album than this like wasn't quite there, but this one had to be on here for 73. This is the Welsh power trio Budgie with the song Bread Fan. That song, like Bread Fan, Like I hardly ever listen to the lyrics of songs and stuff, but Bread Fan, that's not like an Oprah Winfrey like celebrity boxing walk-on song. Like it's about somebody who's like into money. It's not about somebody who loves bread.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, bread is like the slang for somebody that's into dough or Benjamins or whatever.
Second that cheddar.
Yeah. Actually, like kind of during the And Justice for All period.
Yep.
That was a common encore for Metallica to do a cover of Bread Fan.
Yeah, they left out that interlude. So.
The little hippy dippy part.
Yeah. Like I'd listened to Budgie before and I knew that. That's why I mentioned the with Sir Lord Baltimore. But like, yeah, if you can imagine your favorite metal band doing a cover of it, then it probably's got some metal roots to it.
Yeah, there's an even earlier like Budgie B-side that Metallica would cover from time to time. Something about surgery or something. I can't remember what the name of the song is, but yeah, I had to go with Bread Fan for this list just because like that's something you hear in metal a lot later is like that guitar intro where it's like the riff and then the drums and the bass like kind of slam in together and then they all jump in. And so for me, that was kind of like the type of sounds that maybe influence some of the later metal bands to like hit a little harder and like pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Budgie's cool. Speaking of being a Bread fan, I'm going to throw in another one of my later honorable mentions that I was going to talk about at the end of the show. But speaking of Bread Fan, another honorable mention of mine was Fleetwood Mac's Green Manalishi.
Oh, yeah.
And also talking about cover songs being covered by people.
Yeah, Judas Priest.
Yeah, probably more people know the Judas Priest version than the Fleetwood Mac version.
Yeah.
So
yeah, not a lot of people are familiar with the Peter Green era of Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
That's why I used to joke that Fleetwood Mac is two of my favorite bands.
And one of our themes for shows is like new this versus old this. Mm-hmm. And one of the episodes I have as a potential episode is old Fleetwood Mac versus new Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, and I know it's a lot of like it can be decisive. That's why I started saying that they were two of my favorite bands because like I have friends that only like the old Fleetwood Mac and think that like, oh man, when the girls came in to sing, they were selling out. And then I have friends that are like they're only fans of the Stevie Nicks era. And it's like they're both good. Shut up and listen to them both. Like, and the heavy metal show that I went to last week, which we'll talk about again during the trad metal episode, the dive bar that it was at a shrine to Stevie Nicks. So there you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
And another episode besides the old Fleetwood Mac versus new Fleetwood Mac is Stevie Nicks' Muse. Either songs about her or songs she did a duet on or was involved with somehow or was the impetus for the song. So, yeah.
A lot of fodder there.
Yeah. It's a deep well. All right. So, Bread fan. How big a bread fan are you? Do you love bread?
I'm a fan of both of them, actually.
You like money?
Yeah,
we should hang out. I like money.
Yeah. To quote, what's his name?
The actor?
No, it's Dax Shepard. What's his character's name?
If we had one of those lazy boys like he had, we went our recordings would end up being a lot shorter too.
Probably. Frito Benteo. I like money. Okay, Budgie, Bread fan. Yeah, I'd heard that song. I'd heard the Budgie version, but I forgot about the interlude part. I mean, it works well in the song. Not to knock it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's so heavy. for the first part, and then it just comes right back to it.
Well, that's what kind of made Budgie interesting in a way, you know? It's like they were of their time.
They were a
but
power
then they
trio.
had something more, you know?
They had to do that. Yeah, it's like you don't have a horn section or a rhythm guitar player or a flamboyant singer. You got to be more interesting musically.
Yeah, just lay it down musically.
Yeah. I'll go 85. Budgie Bread fan. I mean, it's just like it's so badass.
I'll give it like a 87.
Nice.
It's a cool song. It's just
Yeah.
And I know there's people out there that are like, I can't listen to Rush. Sounds like Tweety Bird on helium or whatever. It's like, okay, let's hear your band.
Right.
Like, step up to the mic then.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't mind a high singer. I wish, you know, it's hard to sing high.
Yeah.
And I like it. I think it sounds killer. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
So enough on that. I got no problem with the high singers.
Yeah. Plus, like, Budgie is such a rad name, especially for a heavy band.
Yeah, totally.
Because it sounds all punchy, but it's like a bird.
Yeah, it's a little bird.
Yeah. It's like there's always like a couple synapses, like doing the Monty Python dead parrot in the back of your head every time you hear the name Budgie.
Oh, man. All right. Should we step into 1974?
Yeah. Should we put our platform boots on and
Yes.
step back into the glam world?
Oh, man. And I say it all too often, but another one of my favorite bands. I think I have about 100 favorite bands. I have 100 top 3 bands.
Me too.
This is The Sweet with Set Me Free.
Sweet is so badass.
Rad. Oh, man. We used to play that song in Nitro Shifters. I'll have to send you a recording of it from one of our rehearsals.
I want to hear it.
That song is so hard to play.
Bet.
I think we only got it almost right one time.
Dang.
Oh yeah, I'll send you that one. Oh, Sweet is so cool.
Yeah, and it's like how rockin' do you have to be to, like, for me to call them badass when they probably spent more on costumes and eyeshadow than they did on instruments and amps.
They had cool gear too, though. I'm not going to do a gear rundown on this one.
They spent as much on their look than they did on their equipment. Like,
yeah, and the way they were promoted. Like,
yeah, they were glam AF. But
yeah.
You know, they have so many classic rad songs. But yeah, that song in particular.
Yeah, Fox on the Run. But this song is like freaking rad.
It's like it kind of, I don't know, like all I could think of it was like, yeah, you know, there is like some glam metal that is undeniably badass. Like Kickstart My Heart, like that song rips, man. Like,
yeah.
You can hate that band, but that song is pretty dope.
I liked a lot of the stuff on their first album, but not as much as I like Sweet.
Well, for sure.
Because I like Sweet's pop stuff too, you know?
Yeah.
I like a lot of their stuff. They had so many like cool eras.
I'm just saying that it's like, this was like the precursor to like the Motley Crue kind of glam metal.
Yeah, that like Tiger B. Smith's outfits make a lot more sense. Like looking at these guys, it's like, oh, okay, that's like kind of what they were going for.
That was the other thing I was going to mention with this video is that it's like, this was from like probably 5 different performances. Like
yeah.
Like they were all wearing like different outfits, like in almost every cut, but it's still like less distracting because it's like, oh, well, yeah, it's Sweet. Like,
did you ever see them on German TV?
At least the bass player's not dressed like a Nazi.
Oh man, speaking of their bass player, and speaking of Nazis,
Yeah, that's the one
okay,
I'm talking about.
one.
Isn't that the one? Where he dressed like a glam Nazi?
No. Okay, no, that's not what I'm talking about. So speaking of
Okay.
their bass player,
But
he's like
that
like a
incident, right?
yeah. Okay, so their bass player, he's like the badass version of Danny Partridge, because Danny Partridge played bass too, and he was a
Right.
redhead. But this guy's like the badass version of Danny Partridge, and he's like such a joker. And did you
Yeah.
ever see them on German TV?
I think so.
Their outfits, like they're playing the song, and like in the middle of the song they turn around, and like the guitar player, I think like on the back of his outfit it says Bollocks, and on the bass players it says
Maybe not.
F off.
Whoa.
Yeah, they had like swear words sewn into their costumes. So halfway in front of German TV, they're playing the song, and then they turn around in the middle of the song, and it has Bollocks and F off like sewn into the back of their costumes.
Dang.
Yeah. And that's probably like a little, like I said, speaking of Nazis, it's probably like a little leftover, like
World
British
War II
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And he could give the Krauts what for?
Yeah.
Oh, it was Top of the Pops, wasn't it? Where he
I
dressed like a
think
Nazi.
so. Yeah, there was a couple of them. Like for some reason, Sweet was not down with Germany for some reason, so they would make little jabs and stuff.
Right, but then it was like because like Top of the Pops would always make everybody lip sync, and like I know a ton of bands like did not want to do that, so they just like
goof off.
Like Maiden famously like switches all their instruments and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And then Sham 69 would always try to get booted off. And I think that's why bass player wore that Nazi outfit, because they did cut like partway through and then they came back after making him change.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, how badass is that though?
Oh man, that song is a ripper.
No, not the song, but I mean, yes, the song, but like just their whole attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Ballroom Blitz, that kicked off so many things too, you know?
Yeah.
Can you put a number on Sweet? Is there like the Scoville ratings? Is there like a sweetness rating?
Yeah, it's like it's orders of magnitude. It's like the Richter scale. Yeah, I'm gonna go high on this one. I'm gonna go 95. Like that song's just such a ripper.
Oh yeah, they rip. I mean, I gotta go higher than 95. I'll give them a 97.
Nice.
I mean the drum fills in there and stuff.
Yeah.
And just when you got to jump in, because like we tried to play this song, and it's like you have to listen to each other. You can't just go, okay, I'll jump in on this. You know, it's like you got to all be so dialed in to like knock out that song. And then there's like the part before the, like kind of 3/4 through, where they start doing the tape flange thing, where it's like the phase shift and it's on the drums. Like they do that in the studio. They'll have a stereo track going, and they'll have 2 takes playing, and then they like slow down one reel by just like putting their hand on it, and it gets that trippy phased out sound because it gets out of phase. Yeah. And then they like slowly kind of slow down the other one till it comes back into phase. So it's like a studio trick. And like the way they put that in there, and just like the vocals, like it's so hard to sing high like that. And it's like they're just doing it with power in the whole band. And yeah, 97.
Yeah, and it's like, imagine going to see them live. Like they play Fox on the Run, and then Love Is Like Oxygen, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. And then they play that song next, and you're like through the roof again. Like, can you imagine that?
What was their big hit?
Little Willie.
Yeah, Little Willie. Sweet rocks. We'll have a whole sweet episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Are we ready for the last year, 1975, to close out the decade of laying the foundation for metal?
Sure. Getting back to Metallica's Garage Days album.
Yeah. So this was
Another cover.
recorded in 1974, but it came out in like late 1974, and it was kind of more of a thing for like 75. So I'm just calling it 75 for the sake of housekeeping. This is Queen with Stone Cold Crazy.
Dang.
Man, Ripper. Man, gotta love Queen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So one of our goals with this podcast is to like share music, turn people onto music. You know, if you're a young millennial and you just got into Queen because you saw Bohemian Rhapsody, well, you know, welcome. And dig a little deeper, because when we were young and coming up, Queen was like so much more than like, you know, Sony owning the rights to their music and deciding to make a movie out of it,
Right.
so they can sell more records and make the money off of it again.
Oh yeah. Yeah, legendary band.
Yeah.
Just,
man, Brian May's guitar tones and stuff.
Yeah.
His dad helped him build his guitar when he was like 14, and he played it his whole career through like Vox amplifiers instead of Marshalls, which maybe because of Rory Gallagher, who knows, but such a heavy guitar tone and so unique. And that song just rocks. Such a cool riff.
Yeah, and it's like it's got a lot of the Queen stuff in it. Like there's some little kind of, I don't know, goofing around stuff in there.
Yeah. Party on stage.
Like, yeah. But yeah, Freddie Mercury just had like one of the most incredible voices ever. Such a rad
so
singer.
Strong. Yep.
You know, there's a lot of bands where it's like, okay, like one member of the band is kind of like, okay, they're an 8 out of 10. The rest of the guys are a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody's always got to be the weak link, but I don't think there's a weak link in Queen. Like,
yeah,
they're all different too. Like,
yeah.
So that's why all their songs, yeah, and they have so much variety in their songwriting.
Yep.
But it's like, man, they did some really goofy stuff that's like also really good. Like,
right. And like, if you think about these guys, if you think about like all these bands we've been listening to, and they grew up listening to like Chuck Berry and Little Richard and Elvis, you know, it's like this like came out of rock and roll.
right.
Like that's what those guys grew up listening to. But this is a total evolution of music when it got heavy.
Yeah.
Another thing, actually, from the suite back, those 4 songs, all the drummers had double bass drums.
Right.
So that's one thing that might drop them into the laying the foundation for metal. But another thing, like in the first one, the first Yardbird song, I talked about the chugging. What that is it's you're muting the strings with your palm so the strings don't ring out.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's like one of the characteristics. Like every metal band does that. Like they have noise gates on their guitar now. So when they stop the chug or the chunk, you know, it's like it just totally sucks shut.
Mm-hmm.
like all these songs, they have that palm muting on the strings, that it's kind of at that tempo and stuff. And that, that Queen song's got it. Like, so for me, that's definitely a characteristic of metal that's got to have that chug palm mute to it.
Right.
Like listening to the Sweet One, it's just a single note, as they're kind of like riding along. And it's hard to do one. That's an element of our top song so far, Eye of the Tiger. That's in there. That that
right
little palm mute. And Stevie Nicks to Edge of 17. It's got that little palm mute kind of shuffle gallop thing to it. Not metal, but it that's the cool part of that Edge of 17 song is the palm mute guitar.
Right. Well, it's not the only cool part of it, but yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool feature of that song.
Yes. Yeah. Dude, stone cold crazy.
Queen was one of the heavy bands that all the stoner dudes were into,
Totally.
So that wraps up our decade of laying the foundation. Should we give Queen a score and then jump into some honorable mentions?
Yeah,
it's all so good, how do we not end up with just a bunch of 98s?
I know. Yeah, it's like I'm forced with like I need to go like 96. Yeah, I'll go 96. Just go with my gut.
Yeah, I'll match your 96. Yeah, that's right where it's at. There's also a nice woo in there,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, the band's having fun when the singer gives a woo.
Yeah.
Throws out some woos.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, some of the things I was thinking about while we were playing that song are like he sings so fast, but he's clear and legible. Like you can understand what he's saying, but he's like singing at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really impressive to like a couple of slow talkers like us.
Right. Yeah, I can't sing that fast.
We can hardly like.
Yeah, when we do our Bad Brain episode, like you talk about eye against eye.
Oh man.
He can sing faster than you can read the lyrics.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Faster than I can think.
Yeah. But then it's like, I remember somebody talking about the first time they heard early Iron Maiden. And they're like, yeah, it's like early Judas Priest. Like they took the heavy parts of early Priest and made it heavier. Like it's just all that. Oh my God, it's perfect. And so it's like, this is like they took Communication Breakdown and made it like
turned it up to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it has that same kind of like manic energy, but it's just like it's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's so heavy.
Yeah. And I mean, along with Sabbath, there's an argument there for Zeppelin being heavy and stuff, Whole Lot of Love.
Oh, for sure.
Communication Breakdown. Immigrant Song, metal.
Yeah.
Definitely. But Zeppelin to me is not heavy enough to make the list. To me, they're something different. They're not metal to me. To me, they're just like a solid hard rock band with blues and folk elements.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they had a lot of the ingredients, like, they sung about like hobbits and.
Right. And how can you not be considered heavy with John Bonham drumming for you?
Right.
That guy's groove was just so thick and heavy, like still the best drummer. And Queen's drummer is great too. He's kind of overlooked a little, because of Brian May being what he is and Freddie Mercury being so flamboyant and such a front man.
Yeah.
But their drummer is great. He was one of Taylor Hawkins' favorite drummers. Like his main influence. Okay, ready to head into some honorable mentions?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go pre-Sabbath. This is pre-Sabbath, and I know for a fact that these guys influenced Sabbath because Sabbath covered this song on their first album. So this is Crow, Evil Woman. Crow, Evil Woman. We're not going to rate any of these honorable mentions, but Crow's not one of my favorite. Well, they're among my favorite bands.
Okay.
Kind of almost ironically in a way, because like one of my first jobs was working at Goodwill, and I found this album called Crow by Crow. It's like a little bit later album of theirs.
Okay.
And I brought it home and listened to it, and I was like, holy crap, I got to turn David onto these guys. And yeah, we just like listen to them religiously, and because they would crack us up, because like their singer, like it's not so evident here, but their singer's like John Fogerty on steroids.
Yeah. Yeah, he also has kind of like a lounge singeriness to him.
Yeah, you got to hear some of his other stuff, because
okay, does it reminded me of like early Deep Purple?
Yeah,
like when they were when they played at like the Playboy offices
right.
or whatever in New
like
York.
Mark 1 Purple.
Yes.
Pre Gillian. Yeah.
Like it kind of reminded me of that, but somehow even kind of like fuzzier.
Yeah. So yeah, they do a cover of Slow Down, and I just added that to our potential episode list to like I want to do a whole show of versions of Morning Dew, and I want to do a whole show of versions of Slow Down.
Okay.
And Crow's version of Slow Down, he's like, used to walk her home, baby, after school, carry your books home too. I can't even do it justice, but like David used to be able to totally nail that. And when he was singing for my first band, we would just like, we would play songs like that and just crack up.
I'll bet.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of became like a private joke for us, like Crow by Crow. And like we'd be hanging around, like talking about, like drinking beers and stuff, and be all, yeah, you're check out Crow by Crow. Like it was like our private joke. Like Crow by Crow was the coolest band,
right?
And then I found out later that Sabbath covered them on their first album.
Yeah,
with this song. And they don't have a horn section. They're more of like a Deep Purple lineup. They're from Minneapolis, St. Paul. There's no horn section in their band. So I'm thinking on this, they kind of were leaning in that loungy thing, because the record company's like, well, we could sell them as this, like a Tom Jones kind of singer.
Uh-huh.
And we put the horns on there, like post production. But they were just like a stripped down rock band, and like they're a thing. They're a thing with me. They're a little cheesy, but I don't know. I love them. That bass line though, man, there's some.
Yeah, it's cool.
There's some geezerisms going on there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like not super technical, but it just like it plods along.
Yeah.
And it adds to the song. And then it's just like it's so fuzzed out. And then also really like forward in the mix too.
Yeah.
Like for like a total fuzz band, it's like being able to hear the bass as its own thing.
Yeah, it's stepped out. It's like featured.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Very
and
cool.
I'm going to stay on the Sabbath thing a little bit here, because this is also from 1969. Now, should I talk about it first, or should we listen to it first?
Let's listen to it.
Okay. This is the 31 Flavors with Distortions of Darkness. Check this out.
Dang.
Yeah. Oh man. Now I know earlier I said Sabbath's 1971 Master of Reality was like the first example of tuned down guitar. And no, they weren't. This is 1969. Yeah, 31 flavors. Okay, this is a weird one. This is kind of like the Riders of the Mark kind of situation here. Like these guys were on a record company called Crown Records, and there's not a whole lot known about these guys. Apparently, they were like a band called the Firebirds, and they got hired by Crown Records to make like Crown Records was kind of like like K-Tel a little bit, where they would put out an album with studio musicians like doing popular songs of the time. So this is actually off an album that has songs like the theme from Hair and like all this like Age of Aquarius kind of like hit songs to like sell, and people will think, "Oh, I love Hair. I want to buy that album," so they'd buy this album instead. It's like the cheap Kmart knockoff of the actual Hair album. But I don't know if they needed filler or what they were doing with this song. I mean, this song is crazy. And like for the main decade thing, I wanted kind of more traditional metal stuff. I wasn't going to go with the stoner doom sludge stuff. But like this is 1969. And if this isn't like the touchstone of that sound, I don't know what is. And like, so I don't know if this was like filler for that album, because like they had the songs the producers picked, and it's like, well, we, to fill the album, we need like one more like 5-minute song. And I don't know if it was just filler or if this was like, I mean, sonically to me, it's like an FU to the record company,
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it from that time period. But I mean, it's really something. I mean, like some of my favorite bands sound like this. Like one of my favorite bands, like if I'm cleaning the garage or something, I'll just like put a bunch of Earthless albums on my MP3 player.
Right.
And like that type of music just like soothes my soul.
Right.
It's like it's like a warm blanket or something, And like when I heard that song, it's like I didn't want to include like doom sledge stuff on Origins of Metal, but
I mean that is part of it. And then it's like, yeah, the fact that it's like, yeah, what year was this from?
69.
69. All I could think of when 31 Flavors was playing was Ohm. And I'm like, it just sounds like the dads of the guys from Ohm.
Yeah, we'll do a whole like stoner doom thing.
Yeah, it's not really my jam, but there is some of it that it's just like, yeah. I get it.
But just with the Sabbath being the elephant in the room, it's like maybe 31 Flavors will like help us, people cut us a break to say no, Sabbath was it,
Right.
So I just because of what this song is from when it happened, when it got laid down, it had to be an honorable mention.
Yeah, it's like it gets a little jam bandy kind of in the middle, but it's like it's so
but stonery doomy jam bandy.
So stonery. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, when was this?
69.
Yeah.
When I was 2 years old,
crazy.
This came out. So, and also, kind of the main purpose of this is to like share new music with people or old music they haven't heard of before. And I don't think a lot of people have heard the 31 Flavors. This is like a weird K-Tel type pop album that was put out, and this song was laid down on there by the band. I don't know why.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So that's my second honorable mention. Yeah.
Yeah, like, for today, it's not that out of place. Like, there are a ton of bands that sound just like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, for when and where that was, it's just
for
insane.
our core audience, like imagine your parents conceiving you to this music.
Right.
Yeah,
or you like if you found the Dope Smoker CD like in a archaeological dig.
right. Yeah, this is like the Scythian grave find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finding the Scythians with their weed in the grave.
Mm-hmm.
And a 12-inch long playing LP of 31 flavors.
Nice.
Some dried amanita mushrooms.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
What's next?
Okay, 1970. Mott the Hoople. We'll do a whole Mott the Hoople thing. I love these guys. I love Mick Ralphs. Yeah. This is just on here in case anybody thinks that Van Halen was the first people to do like a hopped up version of You Really Got Me by the Kinks. This is Mott the Hoople with You Really Got Me.
Oh.
Yeah. Mott the Hoople.
Yeah, I never really got into those guys. Like,
I mean, it's kind of a double nod, honorable mention. It's a double nod because You Really Got Me maybe coulda, shoulda been 1965 instead of the Yardbirds Train Kept a Rollin'.
mm-hmm.
Train Kept a Rollin' had the palm mutes in there.
Yep.
And it had Jimmy Page and Jeff Beck goofing around.
Yep.
But I mean, really, You Really Got Me is one of those ones that's in the running for the first distorted guitar sound because apparently Dave Davies poked holes in his amp speaker with a screwdriver or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's Link Ray, there's Rocket 88, there's other stuff. There's Marty Robbins.
Right.
Yeah, there's other stuff out there, but I mean, the Kinks, I mean, that was a riff. But also to show, Van Halen was kind of a cover band when they started out. They were a backyard party band.
Right.
They might have just been playing the Mott the Hoople version of You Really Got Me.
Yeah.
They won't tell you that.
No.
But they also played ZZ Top's Chevrolet was a cover song that they would play sometimes that you hear on old tapes. But they didn't play the ZZ Top version. They played the Stray Dog version. Yeah. So it makes you wonder, did Van Halen just come out of thin air with, hey, we should do that Kinks song?
Right.
I don't know. Anyways, that was 1970.
Nice.
Okay. Now I'm going to close out with two more honorable mentions from 1972. I said 1972 was like a big year when the ante was upped for getting heavy.
Yeah, all the ingredients were in the kitchen at that point.
Yeah. So this is 1972. This is Dust, Learning to Die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Was that your working man 6 minute with the song on and run to the
actually
bathroom?
It was. Yeah, actually it was.
Song?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard this before, and I thought, I bet I can make it.
You did.
Yeah, Dust Learning to Die. That's from 1972. They have an album the year before that just called Dust from 1971. That one's kind of more doomy, kind of like Elf a little bit, maybe.
Okay.
But I may or may not have included this one just for the Frank
cover?
Frazetta Snow Giants cover art.
Yep.
That's another part of metal. I mean, we already talked about fashion. We got to talk about album covers too. We already did talk about album covers, but yeah, Bones. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, to have a Frazetta cover,
yeah,
you're doing something right.
Yeah, like Barbarians and Savagery and fantasy stuff. Like,
yeah. I'm going to give a super quick condensed rundown on Dust.
Okay,
they're from New York. They're a New York band.
All right.
And I mean, they started earlier in 71, but they made these two albums, 71, 72. The first album's worth a listen to. So this band was a guy named Richie Wise, and he had a couple of teenagers join his band, like they're kind of right out of high school. Kenny Aronson and Mark Bell. And they only made these two albums. And so Richie Wise and their producer, this guy named Kenny Kerner, they wrote the lyrics to Kenny Kerner, their producer, wrote the lyrics to the songs. And those guys were just the band. Kenny Aronson is a great bass player, and he played with just about everybody. But like most notably to me, anyways, Kenny Aronson was the bass player with Vinny Appice, who was in Derringer. Vinny Appice later played with my next honorable mention, so I want to let that cat out of the bag yet. But Wise and Kerner, after the band broke up, after Dust kind of ended, Wise and Kerner, they went on and produced the two first Kiss albums. So there's another metal connection if you want to put it in there. And the teenage drummer Mark Bell later, or I guess now would be known by his stage name of Marky Ramone. So that's what Dust is all about in a nutshell.
Nice. Like incredible drum work on that song. Like,
oh yeah, and the sounds too. Like that kick drum, man. Like I should take a sample of that.
Yeah,
it's a nice clean break in there too. With that, so punchy, crisp. Yeah, Marky Bell, man. Marky Ramone. He was.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a beast.
Yeah, total beast on drums. Like a lot of people think, oh, the Ramones are so simple. It's like anybody could play that. Yeah, try it. Try it, my friend.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Lay down those 8 notes on the hi-hat like Marky Ramone, and then come back and tell me you can do that. Anyways, yeah, Dust are cool. They're cool.
Yeah. I'd never heard those guys.
Yeah. Their first album is kind of more proto than this album. But anyways, yeah. I thought you would appreciate the Snow Giants. It's pretty rad.
Always.
Yeah. So Vinny Appice, who played with Kenny Aronson, also played with later on in the band of this singer. And this is also from 1972. And I'm going to give my other honorable mentions too, so we can just close out, so we can like bookend the episode with my last honorable mention song. But here's some other honorable mentions. I already mentioned Green Manalishi. Bitter Creek, Plastic Thunder, 1967.
Okay, I'm familiar with them.
I picked Riders of the Mark instead for a reason. Blues
Fair.
Creation out of Japan. Their 1971 album Demon and 11 Children. Killer album. If you're into this stuff, just listen to that whole album. I think it was on that album that they actually covered Black Sabbath, like the song Black Sabbath in Japan in 1971.
Whoa.
Yeah. So there's like the whole Japanese thing going on back then. And I mean, I know a lot of people might be familiar with like Traveling Flower Band, but Blues Creation was like another one. You know, they started out as like, you know, blues rock band, but like, man, by this second album, 1971, they were like a whole different thing and worth checking out. Also 1972, Jerusalem, band Jerusalem, album Jerusalem. It's a British band that was produced by Ian Gillan. And there's a song on there called Frustration that's worth a listen. The whole album's worth a listen, but the song Frustration in particular almost made it on the list. I knew we'd have more to talk about for 1972 with Tiger B. Smith.
Well, it's too much to talk about.
Yeah. So also for 1972, and to kind of wrap things up, did you have anything you wanted to add before we like play the last song?
Nah.
Okay. So to me, like, I love metal and I love Ian Gillan, but to me, like, this is the voice of metal. 100%. So this is Elf, Nevermore.
Yeah.
I just shared that one just to share it. You know, like, nothing against Joe Lynn Turner or Graham Bonnet, or nothing against Ozzy, nothing against any of those guys. But like, when Ronnie James Dio was in the band, like, that became the focus, you know?
Yeah.
I think the reason they got other singers in Rainbow was because Blackmore's ego could not handle like the way Dio like held the stage, you know. And this is just a studio song, and it's like a good opera singer, you know. It's like he just holds the stage. I don't know how to describe it, but just such a force of nature. Yeah, just incomparable.
For a song that has like kind of a honky tonk piano in it.
Yeah.
Like that was one of Elf's features.
Yeah.
And you know, they did play at the what? Country Ball? County Ball?
Oh.
Did they play at?
The Butterfly Ball? Are we gonna do a Butterfly Ball episode?
We're not. Yeah, we should mention
it'll
that.
Come up in our Deep Purple family tree.
Yeah, or we just have a Dio episode too.
Yeah. Which we will be doing. Which is why I'm going to save a lot of my Dio stories for that episode. But I couldn't do like pre-metal without like, you know, Ronnie was doing his thing back in the day.
Oh man.
You know?
Yeah. It's just like he came out of the womb as Ronnie James Dio, like.
Right. And he sang in like doo-wop bands and stuff, and he was American, and he auditioned to be the singer for The Sweet, like when they were first starting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy crap. That would have been different.
But he was American, you know, so it's like.
Right. Can you imagine Sweet songs, but with all the fantasy stuff that Dio brought into the music? Dragons.
Yeah, not to take anything away from Brian Connolly, you know, Scottish singer, great singer. But yeah, if Dio was in Sweet, it would have been a totally different band.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking about it like one time, and it was like, could you imagine Ballroom Blitz? It was like, are you ready, Andy? Are you ready, Mick? Are you ready, Steve? Are you ready, Ronnie?
All right, fellas.
Yeah, all right, fellas. Can you imagine? Oh man. Anyways, I may be spreading misinformation, but Pretty sure I read that somewhere once.
Okay. Well, I was going to say that this is one of our longest playlists with 16 songs, and it's like metal origins, like proto metal, pre metal kind of stuff, and it's maybe about a third of the songs I could headbang to, like, oh yeah, okay, I can feel it on this one, but yeah, Nevermore by Elf, and it's like
it's epic.
Yeah, where it gets to the like the beefy part, and it's like leaping dogs of winter on the bite, and it's like
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
I had the horns going, like
Horns go up.
not only head banging, but like throwing up the horns.
Well, I like the
Dio
beginning
just
too, with
had
just
it.
him in the piano.
Yeah.
It's just, oh man, his voice. I could listen to him read the phone book, I think.
Well, for sure.
Rest in peace, Ronnie James Dio.
Totally.
Yeah, I know there's a million songs that could have been on this list, but like, I hope you can look at this list and like, could any of these like justifiably been left off? I don't know. Just my
I'm not
opinion.
going to be the one to judge that.
Hope everybody enjoyed Metal Origins. I mean, it's a deep well. Metal is a big tent. It's never ending. Everybody's got their opinion about it, but this is just mine. This is just one man's opinion. I don't know. Hopefully you've found some new thing to check out, or didn't realize music was so heavy way back when.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely going to listen to a lot more Sir Lord Baltimore.
Yeah, and we're metalheads. Like, this is not going to be our last metal episode. Not even our last metal episode this month.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned. Next week we're coming at you with just straight ahead classic metal. That's going to be a tough one, but we're gonna tackle it.
Yeah.
So
if you want to hear more Dio, stay tuned.
Yeah. So I hope everybody enjoyed this one, and hope you have a great week.
Yep.
And keep listening. Share us. Leave us a review. If you have friends you think might dig this stuff, check it out. We'll throw some stuff up from this episode on Facebook. We kind of went down the Tiger V. Smith rabbit hole even a little further, and we'll throw some pictures up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Everybody's viewing pleasure. Yeah. So we'll see you next week with classic metal. Bye.
Nice. See ya.
Checking out music with my bro. Will it dig it? Yes or no?